really good, I hope.
So I want to talk about your story being a nail judge. How did you decide to become a nail judge, and how was your experience like in terms of like competing, like your first time competing in a nail competition? Because what I've seen on Nail Olympia Online 2021, which I'm competing in, you're one of the.
Are you?
Yes, I'm
Yes.
competing. This is my very first competition. And so what was your whole experience within your first time competing? And what tips as well can you give to people who are competing for the first time?
Right. So the first time I ever competed, I did this for, I was an educator for Easy Flow Nail Systems. And we had an educator come over, and she was wanting to take a team to a national competition. There was no Nail Olympia at the time. There was no Nail Olympia. So I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I can do that. We're trained to do pink and whites, it's the way it is. So we had 3 days of intense education, competition education. And I went, and I think there was loads of us that went. I went and did the competition, and I sat down, and we had big long rows. So it's very different to how it is now. Big long rows of chairs. And I sat down, and I had somebody that I sort of knew opposite me. I was sat here, and then the girl next to me wasn't getting nail forms and stuff out. She was just getting all of this feathers and colors, and I had no idea what she was doing. So I'm like doing nails, and I'm looking at her, and I'm doing nails, and I'm looking and at one stage my model said, "You have to finish," because I'm like and she was making zips on nails. It was amazing. And I'm like, what is this that this girl's doing? So I had no idea. I think I came 25th in that competition, and I never did a pink and white competition again. I entered, the next competition I entered was fantasy. I came second. I also did photographic, that same competition, and I came first with a fantasy look. The second competition, I came first, and then second with the photographic. The third one, I came first, and then second with the photographic, or was it the other way around? So I entered 2. And then I went and did an international competition in the US, and I came first. It was acrylic design. So it was structure, and it was an inlaid design. I did apples and like it was a see-through nail, lipstick style, and it was apples in acrylic. So yeah, it was good. I've got the picture somewhere. I remind me, and I'll dig out the picture. I have got the picture. Now when I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, that's so bad. But at the time, and then I think I just, it's like at the time, it was good. But things move on, don't they? But so yeah, I think entering competitions, I remember that competition. I didn't have a model. I arrived in the US. I didn't even know I was being entered into the competition, because I was working again with Easy Flow. They just said, you're going to a competition this weekend, and I'm like, I am. I said, I don't have a model, and they said, well, you better find one. So I'm, my friends in the US found me a model. She drove 6 hours to get there. She turned up at 5 a.m. We registered. And then I went to the booth. So I had practiced over, the training weekend, and decided what I was going to do. Turned up, never seen her nails before. I think I prepped her nails on the booth, and put my headphones in. She put her headphones in, and we won. That was it. Didn't even speak to her. And I was like, the thing is with competitions, let me tell you this. You can get your in a twist, and you can get so uptight, but your shit, what you're doing, and if you can just relax, and if music does it for you, stick your headphones in. There are so many things that people say, don't forget to do that, make sure you do this, but you've read those, you know those, and it's like driving a car. It becomes second nature to you, but ultimately what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's your first competition, there's chances are that you'll come 25th, like I did.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a competition. It's just a competition. And then you will go away and you will learn so much about what's available and where you want to go, that you'll be like, you know what? Pink and white's not for me, but hell, I'm going over there with the fantasy girls. And that's where you'll find your jam. You'll get all passionate about it. You'll learn your shit, and then you'll go the next competition. You'll be on it. That's competition.
Because when I signed up for the mixed media and like the flat box, because I felt like those are my strengths. Because like I'm an artist as well, and I love nail art, hands down, whether it's like with gel or acrylic or watercolor. And I've learned from people like you guys and like you and Viv Simmons and Catherine Wong. I got so inspired by you. And so it's so cool to have an opportunity for the first time to compete with people around the world. Yeah. And I want to ask you a quick question about the beauty industry. Is there any differences between the US and Europe, or is it basically the same? Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Massive difference. Yeah, huge difference. Let me think about this. You've got a lot more rules over there than we have over in the UK. So there's a big difference between the UK and Europe as well. So, but if we club UK and Europe together, your competitions in pink and white are really different. Your application process and what you're looking for within the US competitions and UK competitions. The one thing about Nail Olympia, though, is that you have such a diverse range of judges doing what they're good at. And for the most part, international judges that understand the difference between the UK, the Europe and the US. Standards are different, as in the levels, when you get Europeans, especially Eastern Europeans, competing against, say, Asians, that is, it's like there's just no competition, because they are just phenomenal. Their attention to detail, their discipline, they absolutely are so patient with what they do. Whereas with us in the UK, and I think with the US, we're not so patient. We want to get it done and finished, and we have an element of self-importance. We're confident in what we do. Of course, this is going to be brilliant. Yeah. Whereas in Eastern Europe and in Asia, it's drilled. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. So, there is a difference in attitude there that you can see in the work. But that doesn't mean that your work isn't good, because if you've got a board and it's jam-packed full of stuff, doesn't mean it's done well. And if it's jam-packed, say, full of people, well, you're only judging on one person. But if you've got people, flowers, animals, different types of animals, trees, a sun, a moon, there are loads of different elements and ways to get points. So it's about combining everything and lots of different application techniques.
Yes. Now that you mentioned Europe and Asia, I got so inspired by them as well. And I'm just like, wow, like their level of artistry is so like extraordinary, like with the flowers and 3D. And I got really inspired by you guys with the 3D, especially Catherine Wong. And I was like, wow, like she does like these 3D characters so well. And that's how I got into 3D. And I like gel mostly. I'm a fan of gel and also acrylic and watercolor. So it's really cool that you mentioned that, because I get inspired by Europe and in Asia as well. So it's really such a sight to see. And I have a question with you being an educator, because you're also an educator, and you mentioned Easy Flow and other brands. How did you become an educator, and what does it take to be an educator and holding like seminars and courses?
So in the UK, you need to have a license now to be an educator. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to, you go to school and you learn to be a teacher. Not everybody does that. It is, I
Mm-hmm.
would say, for the best of your student, understand how they learn and how they
Mm-hmm.
develop in order to adjust how you teach.
Mm-hmm.
But you learn that at college. Now,
Mm-hmm.
back then, I just wanted to expand my business,
Mm-hmm.
and you could just go to a brand and you could say, hey, I love your products. I want to educate for you. And they're like, yay, give us
Mm-hmm.
£2,000. At the time, it was a lot of money. Buy a whole bunch of products and yeah, you can educate for us. So
Mm-hmm.
be under no illusion, and I'm sorry if brands are listening to me, it may well be different here, but be under no illusion that when a brand asks you for money for you to be a glorified salesperson, you are helping them more than they're helping you.
Mm-hmm.
So I was invited, it must be 12 years ago now, to be an ambassador. So I'm not an Easy Flow educator now or anything like that. And I wasn't at the time. That was in the UK, and then you're invited to be a global educator. The two businesses are very different.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was invited to be an ambassador for Orly, and that was an invitation. And they are probably one of the best companies I have ever worked for. And they look after you so well. They have the interests of you. They don't ask you for any money. You are a glorified salesperson as an educator. So my advice, if you want to be an educator, is get a license to teach, get access to a brand, and hello, what are you doing? Get access to a brand, and let me just show you.
Oh,
what are you doing?
So cute.
He is
So
cute.
adorable.
So sorry. Get an access to a brand and learn from them. Learn how they operate and learn their products. You will earn money from it. But when you've learned your craft of teaching, then start teaching your own designs and your own courses. But by being aligned with the brand, you start to build a reputation for yourself, and people start to know who you are. And I don't know, it's six of one, half a dozen of the other. But don't spend $2,000 to learn how to sell somebody else's stuff. Yes, because you are, and you for them are an advantage. They're asking you to spend money for them to teach you how to sell their stuff, because that's all you're doing when you're educating for another brand. So and I'm not sorry for saying that, but I do really strongly believe that brands should support and look after their educators by investing in them. Now, it might just be that you get a massive discount on a kit that you can then distribute out and sell, and you're buying, a bunch of wholesale so that you can sell them at a class. But there has to be something in return for that.
Yeah, and
So,
also too, you have to have the passion to want to be an educator as well. So the thing is, like, you can't just be in it for the money. And like for you, you're very passionate about being an educator and teaching the different nail techniques and different courses. So I like how you brought up those type of points, because you have to be passionate about it with anything you do, especially being an educator.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Because I will tell you now, being an educator is probably one of the most heartbreaking but heartwarming jobs. So you will be in a room with people that feel that they can do this and get so frustrated that they can't. You can see the pain in them. But when you adjust yourself so they understand you in a different way, that's a skill of being a good educator. And then they get that light bulb moment. That is amazing. But finding people to pay for education when there is so much free stuff online, it's a hard path to go down. It's not, it definitely is not going to make you money. It made me short-term money, but would I do it again? No. I worked so hard. I didn't get paid for what the hours I worked on my being an educator. I mean, I enjoyed it, obviously, otherwise I would never have done it. And I've met some amazing people. And without doing that, without paying my dues, I wouldn't have had online education. I wouldn't have created my first DVDs and then done an online course and had the membership and the websites. And now I host for other educators. So they say, hey, Sam, can you host my courses on your website? And that's all a development over time. So yeah, it's I don't know. I love my job, but I get a bit scared because so many people want to be an educator, but I don't know if they realize that it takes something to be an educator. And it's good if they want to be an educator, but they have to give back more than they ever get.
Yeah. Exactly. So you also offer like nail courses, and I've seen on your Instagram that you recently put out a nail course called 30 Nails in 30 Days. So if you can elaborate on that course, that fun course, as well as other courses that you offer as well, that would be awesome.
So we have loads and loads of different courses, all starting at £55. But the 30 Nails in 30 Days was actually born from a course I did on portraits. And I did 30 faces in 30 days in June in the first lockdown. And the confidence that grew from that and the stuff that I learned, but the actual sitting there and taking the challenge with the educators. So what I wanted to do was bring something like that to the industry, and I couldn't work out how to do it. I couldn't do it myself. I couldn't do all of those lessons myself. I wanted to pull and help other educators as well. So I invited 5 of my nail friends to join me. We all did 5 lessons each, and we collaborated. So it's all a profit share. So I don't make that money. We share it between all of us. I host it, and it's a lifetime access. Now, these lessons range from the competition pink and whites in UK and US style, gel polish application, gel polish 3D. We've got mixed media box sets, fantasy. We've got plasticine gel, portraits. We've got lips design. We've got characters from cartoons of the Frozen set. That's a 2.5 hour lesson. That's just one day.
Wow.
With hours and hours and hours. So it's not, you've got one day is one course. Right, come on. One day is one course. So you learn something from each individual educator, and then you learn something else. And what I said to the educators is do whatever you want. There's no guide. Just make sure that 2 of the lessons are salon viable, and one of them is like kick-ass, oh my God, can I do this? Yes, I can. It's like really, really exciting nails. So but that's the 30 Nails in 30 Days. But we have beginner courses in nail art. We've got manicure course. We've got a lifting series course. We've got Melanie Lewinden's Edgy Mat courses coming out soon. What else have we got? Portraits. I've got a portraits course. Aquarelle. We've got 4 aquarelle courses, 2 one-stroke courses. We've got shapes, like extreme shapes course. We've got so many different things available.
That's
all
great.
end up being inspired on that. It is very, very good. I'm sorry, I've got a really itchy nose, and I think
That's really cool that you have like so much of an array of courses that people can choose from. And I think you also have a book out that entails nail art as well. And can you explain a little bit about the book?
So the Nail Art at Secrets is actually the first book that I wrote. And what I found was that it was about the fundamentals of nail art. Mm-hmm. And I actually have a lot of this in the Nail It with New to Nail Art course. But the fundamentals of nail art are little things like when there is a dot too much, or how to do marbling. And then there's 5 different ways on how to do marbling. Also the history of nail art, because it's important to know these things. And
exactly,
it's a workbook, so you can actually sketch and draw in the book and plan out your design. There is actually a page that you can just print off, and you can actually plan a design. There's all sorts of ways to build a design, and I teach you how to get inspiration from Pinterest, and how to collect your designs, and how to organize them, and how to not copy people, but to be inspired with your own stuff. So all of those things are in, and it's a workbook as well. I like the Marketing Secrets. Nail Art Secrets is a workbook. It's about how to build confidence in this genre of nails. So,
you also done like different magazines like Scratch and Nail Pro, and I wanted to ask, what was your favorite like magazine that you worked on, like favorite cover?
So I have all my covers up on my walls behind me, and then I have I don't know if you can, I've got them all on the wall all over. So that my favorite cover, so there was a oh God, I don't know that there was one design that I did a photo shoot in London, and we had a snake, and it was all it was called Temptation and Innocence and Temptation, and I did 2 shots. One of the shots was used for Nail Olympia one year. It was it was an innocent one with the white. I don't have the. Oh, it's down there. It's a white. She's white and she's got nails. And then the other one was the Scratch cover. But I enjoyed that shoot. But I don't know. I think. And then there was this one for Nails magazine, which isn't around, and I did it with fiber optics, and it literally had fiber optics. It was fiber, and it was that was a fun one to do. I'll get it. Hold on, because we actually ended up doing it in a toilet.
Oh wow.
So we had the fiber optics, and then she sat in a toilet. So we had the black sheet on the door, and the photographer his head was in the toilet trying to take this photo because it was the darkest place.
Wow.
And then this, I don't know, this is a hard one. I think to be fair, I'll tell you it's this one. This is probably the one, and I'll send you these photos. This here is my Oma. My Oma is my grandma.
Wow.
This cup here is my Oma's cup.
Wow.
And she's long dead now. So I think this one, and it was called Time for Tea. I think this one with the nice. And at the time, the photographer that I used to work with was he had a room which I was absolutely jam-packed full of accessories and things that you'd use for photographs. And I did quite a lot of things with him, and he'd just go in and he'd get newspapers from like 1940, and he just like that, we did a poppy thing, and he had the old-fashioned microphone thing. So so that, I don't know, so it's hard to say. I work a lot with Scratch at the moment, so I'd say Scratch is my favorite, but that's a UK magazine. So yeah, I say Scratch, but I like Alex, the editor. So that's like.
Yeah, I like the one cover you did for Nail Pro, and it was for July 2011. And I remember you did that cover, and I was like, wow, like you did like these roses and did the long nails.
All the way around?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All the way around the rose, like the vine of roses all the way around. And I was like, wow, it looks so cool. Like, how did you get that opportunity to work with like Nail Pro and these like nail magazines to do these covers? It's very amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the Nail Pro is great. I did a lot of judging for Nail Pro Cup. So whenever I used to come to the US every January and May, every year. And then in August, I'd go to Australia. So like it was, you know, it was a hectic life. But so I always used to go do the show at Long Beach and then the show in Orlando. And I think after I did the show in Long Beach, I'd stay and I'd do the cover. So I had another cover as well for Nail Pro, which I used the nail art pen on, and my pigments. And so it was good because they'd film it, and it was a really interesting concept. But I always used to book my flight the day of the shoot, so I would literally finish the shoot, do the interview, and then rush to the airport. So it was never a relaxed process. I don't know, it's nice. But yeah, that actually I like that one. It's a long, gosh, that was a long time ago. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I remember I seen you do that cover, and I was like, wow, it looked amazing. I want to talk about nail health. I think not just nail art itself, I think nail health is very, very important, just because I think, you know, especially now that it's wintertime and, you know, people need like ways to take care of not only their skin, but their nails as well. So like, what tips can you give in terms of maintaining healthy nails, and what products do you possibly recommend in terms of the care for the nails?
Oil. And there is a brand called Emoki Oils. Oh my gosh. If you would ever want to eat your cuticle oils, then this is the brand to do it. They have amazing smells, and it's called Emoki Oils, EMOKI. Emma Kalani does this. She's in the UK, but she sells all over the world. And they've got the Christmas range out at the moment. And they've got some weird names, but like gingerbread, and there's a cherry Coke, and so good smells. So Emoki Oils for sure. What else? Hand cream. I don't know. Do you have a brand over there called Rituals?
I'm not exactly sure. I know we have like the typical brands like Jergens, Olay, and stuff like that. I don't know about the Ritual brand. I'm not sure.
No, I'm not sure. It's not a professional brand. It's a high street, but it is their hand cream. I mean, I should say Orly, but I will say Rituals in the UK. The hand cream is just But if you can't get Rituals, get Orly. Orly hand cream's very, very nice too. But I would get Emoki oils and hand cream. Oil and cream, oil and cream. And, you know, keep them short. Like long nails, no, don't do it. Keep them short. And then in the summer, you go long. But yeah, keep them short at the moment. Short and glittery, and then you're all right.
Yeah, because I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I keep my nails very short because I work with my hands a lot. And so like sometimes they'll grow like within a certain length, like it kind of like mid-length, and then it'll just break off. So I'm like, okay, I'll just like cut them short because I like to work with my hands that way and it's easier.
Yeah.
So that's a really nice tip to have, like to keep them short, simple.